You're the chairman of the board or a CEO, looking for a big executive car, but you find the German offerings such as the Audi A8, BMW 7 Series or Mercedes-Benz S-Class just a bit too clinical. Your options? Well, how about something Italian? This is the Maserati Quattroporte. Quattroporte literally translates as 4 doors. Though today we're going to find out whether this Maserati stands for a sporting luxury experience. But with a car like this, first we've got to talk about the styling. The Quattroporte has been around since 1963, but it hasn't always looked beautiful like the most recent models. Now with this 6th generation model, it is a bit of an evolutionary change from the predecessor. However, one key change at the front. The Trident badge grille is now concave rather than convex, which means it curves outwards rather than inwards. Now coming to the side, we've got the trademark triple air vents in the front guards, and we've got huge 21-inch wheels. Now they are optional, but Maserati says 100% of Australians will pick this wheel with this car. The wheelbase, just one option, and that's actually longer than the S-Class long wheelbases version, but that has huge advantages in the rear seat. Now there's absolutely acres of rear legroom in here, and the seat itself, the outer pews are beautifully scalloped, the backrest is a nice angle. This is just a really comfy place to be. You've also got seat heaters, and if you just want to fancy a snooze on the way to work as you're being chauffeured along, well then you can just raise the shades at the side and on the rear screen. But back to the front seat where most Quattroporte owners will sit. Now the cabin, it's not quite as opulent as that of an S-Class, but it is a highly classy affair with lots of Italian-made leather, some nice carbon fibre plastic trim, and in terms of the controls, it's all very simple. You've just got one big touchscreen here which pretty much controls everything. The only disappointment is that it is based on the Uconnect system that you'll find in other Fiat Chrysler models. There's a choice of Quattroportes, the V8 powered GTS and the V6 powered S we're driving here. The twin turbo V6 and twin turbo V8 are actually closely related and both built by Ferrari and Maranello to Maserati specifications. Now you wouldn't choose the V6 over the V8 just for fuel consumption because there's not a great difference. However, you would go for the V6 to save nearly $80,000 over the GTS. Doesn't sound quite as good as the V8, but saying that, it's still got plenty of character. Oh, lovely exhaust blurts on upshifts. Yeah, the V6 is a little bit on the muted side, so there's quite a bit of sound deadening going on up front. We wouldn't mind hearing a little bit more. And having heard this Quattroporte from the outside, it does sound better when you're a bystander. Now, peak torque comes in at 1750 RPM, goes all the way to 5000 RPM, so you can just ride this flat torque curve that gives the Quattroporte S fantastic mid-range pace. Now we mentioned earlier that this is a big car, and at 5.2 metres it really is, but on the road it actually feels remarkably light on its feet. A huge amount of grip from the 21-inch tyres, as you would hope, but really nicely balanced car. Maserati says it's got 50-50 weight distribution, so absolutely spot on in that respect. But the steering is really beautiful, very smooth, turn it in, accurate. Now, if you are concerned about ride quality, well, I'll tell you now that this is not going to be as pampering as a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. This is a limo with sporting intent, and even in the regular suspension mode, things are pretty firm and quite a knobbly, low-speed ride in the city. But when you do get out onto the open road, who cares? If you're after a big executive car that delivers a soothing ride and all the latest driver assist technologies, well, this car isn't really for you. However, if you want a limo that stands out with its styling and brings you a sporty, involving drive, then the Quattroporte is on the money.